Okay, so we're looking at perceptual interpretation, and the first thing that we have to look at is perceptual adaptation. So perceptual adaptation is the idea that your visual field gets displaced, okay? It gets displaced. In your book, they talked about a guy who wore some goggles. Remember this? The guy who wore the goggles and made everything upside down, and like left was right and right was left. Remember reading about that? What happened to that guy? He wore them for like several days.
He got used to it.
He got used to it over time. Okay? Now that's obviously a very extreme case, but anybody here wear glasses? Okay. Have you ever gotten a new pair of glasses?
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, if you've ever gotten a new pair of glasses, what you will notice is that it takes you a while to be able to reorient yourself to that new pair of glasses, right? Especially if, maybe you hadn't been to the optometrist in a while and you were used to squinting at things, and all of a sudden you get this new set of glasses on, you're like, whoa, everything is so clear, and it takes you like a week to get used to your glasses, right? Same idea here with perceptual adaptation. We're getting adjusted to a displaced visual field. Okay, so that new set of glasses. The other thing we have to look at is perceptual set. This is the predisposition. How about this one? This figure in the middle here, what is that?
12, 13, 14.
Now, the reason that this is formulated the way it is because obviously it depends upon what the context is, and that's part of the perceptual set. If you're looking at it and it's a bunch of letters, then you're going to perceive it as a B. But if you're looking at it and it's a bunch of numbers, you're going to perceive it as a 13. Have you ever had this where you borrowed somebody's notes? Maybe you were gone, or maybe you want to check something, you're reading somebody else's notes and you're trying to read through it, and you get to something like that, or maybe their handwriting, you're trying to decipher their handwriting and figuring out what they're trying to say, right? It makes a difference if you know going in, okay, this is their psychology notebook, and so you're expecting some psychology terminology in there, versus if they, oh crap, I gave you the wrong one, that's my notebook for science class, for chemistry. Oh gosh, that makes a difference as far as how I'm trying to decipher your writing if I can't decipher it. Okay? So that's the idea behind perceptual set. Okay, I got another. All right, so this I've saved till now. So this is some of my family. These are my parents in the middle. So this is my mom, Diane. This is my dad, Mike. These are me and my siblings. So here I am. This is on the far left. That's my sister Christina. She's 2 years younger than me. On the far right is my brother. This is my brother Jeremy. I told you about Jeremy. He is 5 years younger than me. And then next to me is my sister Gabby. And Gabby is going to be 20 on Friday. Okay? So here's my question to you. See any physical similarities? Graduation party. But the reason I have this perceptual set is because I'm telling you right. I'll tell you this, and I'll let you figure it out. It's interesting based off of my third period. Told me one of the kids is adopted.
Left.
Far left.
Far left.
Yeah.
Why do you say my sister Christina? How?
Her face is
Like her hairstyle, or
her like head shape. Cheekbones.
cheekbones? Okay. Her eyes are very dark.
She's the only one that doesn't smile with her mouth open.
She's kind of got different dark. But you're wrong, actually.
It's the guy.
Nope.
It's your dad.
It's you. No, I'm not adopted.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's interesting because, like I said, this is perceptual set. You go in knowing that that this is my family, and you go in and you go and look for similarities, right? Have you ever had that happen where people know that you're related, like your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, I can see that. Have you ever had that? Okay. The interesting thing is, and the reason I put this in here was because, guys, my mom and Gabby were once at a place where they ran into somebody that Gabby knew. My mom didn't know them. And Gabby was polite, was introducing this person that she knew through school. She said, oh yeah, this is my mom, Diane. And the person that she was talking to looked at her and she's like, oh yeah, I can totally see the resemblance. And my mom and Gabby were just like, sure. I've only known Gabby since she was about 16. So she's a very recent development in our family. But I do talk about her as she's my sister. But because you go in and say that, she's my sister, you automatically like, oh, what are the similarities here? And it is interesting that you picked out Christina as not being related because that's what third period said as well. So, other things with perceptual set. Your perceptual set is also affected by context and emotions/motivations. So, what the context is that you're actually receiving the information. So, for example, okay, Evan's a runner. Who else is a runner? Anybody else a runner in here? Pete?
Blue Boosall.
Here's the thing. If you've ever been a runner, okay, or if ever had to run, okay, maybe they make you run, okay, there's a difference, for example, context. When you go and run up a hill and it's, for example, mile 20 in a marathon, okay, that hill is going to seem enormous, right? Whereas if you are just on a nice little walk, or maybe in your car, you're like, this hill's no big deal. What were you complaining about? Why are you complaining? It's such a big hill, right? So your perceptual set will be affected by that context of how you encountered that hill, but it'll also be affected by your emotions and motivations. Okay? So I have another story for you. And again, this is one that was in the resources and quite funny. Okay, so I have a story for you. It's a letter. Okay? So it says, Dear Mother and Dad, since I left for college, I have been remiss in writing, and I am sorry for my thoughtlessness in not having written before. I will bring you up to date now. But before you read on, please sit down. You are not to read any further unless you are sitting down. Okay? Well, I'm getting along pretty well now. The skull fracture and the concussion I got when I jumped out the window of my dormitory when it caught on fire shortly after my arrival here is pretty well healed now. I only spent 2 weeks in the hospital, and now I can see almost normally and only get those sick headaches once a day. Fortunately, the fire in the dormitory and my jump was witnessed by an attendant at the gas station near the door, and he was the one who called the fire department and the ambulance. He also visited me in the hospital, and since I had nowhere to live because of the burnt-out dormitory, he was kind enough to invite me to share his apartment with him. It's really a basement room, but it's kind of cute. He's a very fine boy, and we have fallen deeply in love and are planning to get married. We haven't got the exact date yet, but it will be before my pregnancy begins to show. Yes, Mother and Dad, I am pregnant. I know how much you are looking forward to being grandparents, and I know you will welcome the baby and give it the same love and devotion and tender care you gave me when I was a child. The reason for the delay in our marriage is that my boyfriend has a minor infection which prevents us from passing our premarital blood tests, and I carelessly caught it from him. I know that you will welcome him into our family with open arms. He is kind, and although well not educated, he is ambitious. Although he is of a different race and religion than ours, I know your often expressed tolerance will not permit you to be bothered by that. Now that I've brought you up to date, I want to tell you that there was no dormitory fire. I did not have a concussion or skull fracture. I was not in the hospital. I am not pregnant. I am not engaged. I am not infected. And there is no boyfriend. However, I am getting a D in American history and an F in chemistry, and I want you to see those marks in the proper perspective. Your loving daughter, Sharon. Yes. Okay? Again, emotions and motivations. Okay? Set them up and D and F doesn't sound so bad. Now you're all going to do that next time. Right? Set them up with something really terrible sounding and then break the news that, man. Okay, a couple other things. Human factor psychology, I just wanted to briefly touch on this. I know it was in your book. But basically it's looking at how people and machine/products interact. So there was examples in your book that talked about some good examples. I have a couple of bad and good examples. So they actually look at product design and how products are designed for people. So a couple of bad product designs. Found this picture. One of them is furniture polish, and one of them is non-stick spray. Which one's which?
The one with the band is a non-stick spray.
They're very similar looking. Can you imagine if they were at any close proximity of the same place? You may end up grabbing the furniture polish to be able to spray your pan to make eggs. Right? Other examples. I like this one. It says, please do not take guest room towels to Splash Lagoon. Towels are available for use at Splash Lagoon. The linens in your room are it says, inventory daily. Have you ever been to that? Where you've been to like a hotel and they have like a water park or something like that? They don't want you to take the hotel towels. It's like, really? Nah. Really short, right? She's not even that abnormally tall. It's just a really, really short oven and counter. That's stupid. Who designed those things? Okay, this one, I actually have this. This is a baby stroller. Okay, it's one of those, it's a really big one and it folds in half so that you can like store it or transport it easily. Okay, but when you fold it back up, this little part right here is supposed to snap in the rest of it. Okay, and what's the problem with this? These are actually being recalled.
It's not snapping.
It's not snapping, and as a result, why is this dangerous for the child?
The seatbelt won't protect them.
Yeah, they can get stuck in there as well as the pinching fingers, right? They may not snap properly, okay, and it looks to the adult like it's snapped all the way, and they may touch it and then it snaps their finger, right? So those are bad ones. Good product design. Anybody have a Microsoft computer that runs Microsoft? Okay. Have you ever gotten this where maybe you were moving files to a different folder and it automatically asks you, it says, you know, you already have this exact same file in this folder. Do you want to replace it? Replace the existing one, keep both of them, or keep this one, right? Keep the original. Okay? That's great because it also includes in there when it was that you last modified each file, so it kind of gives you an idea of, okay, which one is the newer one. I've done this many times where I've merged files and then I was like, oh crap, I don't know which one is the right one, but based off of when they were modified, I can probably do best educated guess. Okay, so that's a good product design. Another example, this one I liked where they had all these arrows going pointed to the exit, so you know which way you have to go to, which doors you have to go through to get to the exit. This one for your iPad. Where was the camera originally on the first generation of iPad?
Back.
In the back. Why was that problematic?
Because you can't take selfies.
You can't take selfies, right? You're going like this and you're like, cheese! And you look at it like, oh, I cut off my head. And so when they had next generation iPads, they now put the iPad, the camera, they put a camera in the front, camera in the back. Okay. So again, good product design. All right, last that I want to talk about is ESP. ESP stands for sensory perception. This is going to be where you are perceiving something without actual stimuli. So none of your five senses are actually telling you anything. You are thinking there is something there even though there was really not. So there's three types of ESP. Anybody remember any of the three types?
Telepathy.
Telepathy, what's telepathy? Mind reading. I'm reading your mind. I can tell you the number that you're thinking of. Okay, what else?
Precognition.
Precognition, which is?
Isn't that like you can see the future?
Precognition is the future. And then I have one in before precognition.
Clairvoyance.
Clairvoyance. What's clairvoyance?
See the past.
Kind of. Clairvoyance is. Clairvoyance is going to be you're seeing something that's currently happening. I can tell right now, oh my gosh, my friend's house is on fire, I have to call her right now. Precognition, I'm seeing that it will be on fire on Friday.